No one moved. The entire room froze, like time itself had slammed to a halt. All eyes locked on the blueprint. Damon Prescott was holding no signature, no name, just genius poured out on paper. And when the new CEO finally spoke, voice razor sharp, Brimmy the real architect now, you could practically feel the air get sucked out of the building. But let me tell you, nobody was ready for what happened next. Not the executives sweating bullets in their tailored suits, not the assistants clinging to their notepads, and sure as hell not the woman at the back in a janitor's uniform, who calmly raised her hand and, without so much as a tremor, said, "That's mine." Yeah, that happened. You know, humiliation usually comes before glory. At least that's how it was for Joyce Miller. She wasn't some overnight sensation. She was the person everyone ignored, polishing marble floors before sunrise, scrubbing bathrooms after dark, blending into the background at Callister and Row, the architectural heart of New York. If you ever worked late, you'd hear her mop, maybe catch her humming a tune, but you never really saw her. Until that morning, when the new CEO, Damon former military, all steel nerves and zero tolerance for mediocrity, came in like a storm. He was famous for axing whole teams with a 3-line email, for never blinking first. And today, he was about to change the course of more than one life. The boardroom that day? Tension so thick you could chew it. Damon laid that mysterious blueprint on the table, let his finger glide over the lines, innovative, bold, just about perfect, and then stared at the room like a hawk hunting rabbits. "This isn't the work of any of you, is it?" Silence. You could feel the executives shrinking under his gaze, everyone pretending to check their phone, avoiding eye contact. Then, that sound of broom, rubber gloves, the janitor in navy blue. Nobody knew her name, until, in the kind of moment you only see in movies, she stepped forward and said, "I designed it." You could have heard a pin drop. "Wait, you," a manager blurted, half laughing, half panicked. "You're the janitor." But she didn't back down. "Yeah, I did it." At night, after everyone left, using scrap paper from the supply closet. She wasn't apologizing, wasn't grandstanding, just telling the truth, steady as the city outside. You could see Damon's mind working overtime, try to reconcile what he was hearing. "What's your name?" he asked, coming closer. And for the first time, she peeled off her glove, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "Joyce Miller, MIT graduate, architect." Some folks snorted, some went pale. One director nearly spit his coffee. Nobody knew what to believe. But Damon? He told her, "Sit." And for the first time in 5 years, somebody listened to Joyce. The truth, though, wasn't just about a fancy degree. It was about loss, about survival. When Damon asked how she ended up cleaning floors with a brain like hers, Joyce answered quietly, "I lost my daughter, Lauren, in a car accident. She was 6. The room got real quiet, real fast. I sold everything, walked away from my firm. I just needed silence. Cleaning here, it gave me space to breathe, to survive. But the architect in me, she never died. She just got quieter." You could feel the weight of her words settle on every shoulder in that boardroom. "Sandra, the HR director," she tried to reassert order. "With all due respect, you don't have the credentials for this job." But Joyce only smiled. "I filled out every box on that application, but nobody reads the janitor resumes, Sandra. You just stamped and moved on." You could see Damon's eyes change, then something clicked, some deep respect, maybe a little regret. "So you submitted this as a real proposal?" he asked. Joyce nodded. "Yeah. I reworked the company's rejected designs, put it out there without a name, just to see if anyone would notice quality without a label." Damon almost smiled. In that moment, everything flipped. He told the room, "Joyce, you're no longer janitorial staff. As of today, you're part of the design team." You could hear egos shatter like glass. And that was just the start. Word spread like wildfire. By lunch, everyone at Callister and Row was whispering, "Did you hear about the janitor?" Some were awed, some skeptical. But the secret only Joyce knew was this wasn't an accident. She left the blueprint where it would be found, not to claim glory, but to see if anyone would judge the work and not the worker. You know what I mean? But she never expected the gamble would go this far. That night, She walked home to her tiny Harlem apartment, hung her uniform on the chair, and opened an old box MIT degree, faded awards, letters, and on top, a child's drawing of a flower-shaped building with "Mommy, I want to live in something you designed," scribbled in pink. That was her fuel, her secret, because while the world may have erased her, her daughter's memory kept her going, even when everything else felt impossible. But what nobody in that office knew was this. After her daughter's death, Joyce's business partner Brian walked away free, took her designs, started a new firm, even used her work to win city contracts. Joyce. She just disappeared, let herself become invisible. Until now. A week later, the big test arrived. Damon called a challenge. 1 hour, all architects, no teams, no software, just vision and a blank sheet redesign the Boston Innovation Center, right there on paper. And this time, Joyce wasn't just allowed in, she was dared to compete. You better believe she did. While others fretted over rulers and regulations, Joyce's pencil flowed like water. Her concept wasn't just practical, it was alive. An atrium shaped like a flower, solar glass, public gardens, a place for community, not just commerce. When she pinned her sketch up, the room fell silent, not out of disbelief, but because deep down, they knew they'd been outclassed by someone they'd never even seen. Of course, Sandra tried again. Nice idea, but it's not realistic. A good sketch doesn't make it buildable. But Damon cut her off. You're missing the point. You ignored her credentials, and she still outdesigned everyone in this building. He handed Joyce her promotion lead designer, Boston project. Sandra tried one last shot. So what? Janitors get to run creative now. Joyce didn't blink. Maybe next time you'll teach execs to see beneath their own ceilings. You should have seen the look on Damon's face, part pride, part amusement. He thanked Sandra for her service and, just like that, the old guard was out, a new chapter underway. Days later, Joyce was called into the firm's private boardroom Manhattan skyline. Glass walls, gold embossed folder with her name. Damon said, "The board approved your promotion. Senior Creative Director. You'll manage a team of 50. Joyce, ever steady, laid down her own folder. "I'll accept, but on one condition: I build my own team. I want people like Mefix who never got the chance because they didn't look right, didn't come from the right place." Damon didn't hesitate. "Let's build it your way." And just like that, she wasn't just changing her own story, she was opening the doors for a whole new generation. When the new division launched, it wasn't business as usual. Hoodies, backpacks, accent from every borough, but the work groundbreaking. The badge? Root Project talent grows here. And when the Boston Innovation Center opened, reporters and politicians showed up, but so did cafeteria workers, bus drivers, night shift nurses, folks who'd never been invited to the front row before. This building wasn't dropped on the city, it grew from it. On opening day, Damon took the mic, nodded toward Joyce, and said, "I thought this was impossible." But the only real impossibility was pretending talent comes in one package. Joyce walked up, simple navy dress, a white flower on her shoulder, for Lauren looked out over the crowd and spoke the words she'd been waiting her whole life to say. "I spent years cleaning the floors of this industry. The hardest part wasn't the mop. It was being invisible. This place, it's for my daughter and for everyone who's ever been overlooked. We built this for and with you." And before stepping inside, she turned her badge over and wrote, "For Lauren. We built this together." That day, a new kind of blueprint was born, not for steel and glass, but for what's possible when you look beyond the surface. So, let me ask you, how many Joyce Millers are out there right now, building dreams nobody sees? Where do you stand, rooted in tradition or ready to build a world that truly sees people? Drop your thoughts below. Who deserves a seat at the table? And what does real justice look like in your eyes? Let's hear it.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình, là mình lên mạng xã hội tìm hiểu những video
Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
after the tree to hold on to.
Yeah, there were.